Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Members of Parliament, our visitors in the gallery, Nisambula Vinaka, Namaste, Assalam, and a very good morning to you all. I'm honoured to rise today to express my wholehearted support for the speech delivered in this August House by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Fiji, on the occasion of the opening of this Parliament 2017 session. Madam Speaker, as always, His Excellency addressed the House with dignity and wisdom. I congratulate and thank him for demonstrating his unwavering faith in Fiji, his respect for what we as a nation have achieved, and his support for our commitment to offer our people the best we can. For Fijians deserve no less, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, His Excellency noted at the time he spoke, Fijians across the country were preparing to celebrate Constitution Day, when we come together to mark the anniversary of our Constitution passing into law. And I was delighted to join Honourable Prime Minister and many others who commemorated that auspicious day in Lautoka last Thursday. Madam Speaker, I know there were similar celebrations across the country. Madam Speaker, our Constitution is the rock on which our democratic society is built. It is broad in its scope and bold in its ambition. But as His Excellency himself observed, I quote, "The Constitution gives us a way to live together, to govern and to make decisions," unquote. During the course of last week's commemoration in Lautoka, I also listened with interest to two of our school students who spoke about what the Constitution meant to them. Dipsha Lal, a Year 12 student of Penang Sangam High School, reminded us that our Constitution guarantees equality among all citizens, that the rights, privileges, benefits, duties and responsibilities of citizenship are shared by all Fijians, unquote. In a similar vein, Alia Nisha, again a Year 12 student of Xavier College, highlighted the fact that a fair country whose people are pleased with the order of things will be more productive and will be on a fast track towards development, unquote. Madam Speaker, those were indeed wise words from our youth who represent the future of the nation. There are also words which reflect the principles of fairness, equity and partnership between government and the people, which also guides the workings of our country and also the workings of our country's health system. Madam Speaker, I'm sure I do not need to remind the members of this House that our Constitution enshrines the right to health for all Fijians. It requires the state to take reasonable measures within available resources to afford all our citizens the right to health and to offer them access to facilities and services they need to realize that right. In setting out the right to health, the Fijian Constitution echoes the broader global vision of universal health coverage. Madam Speaker, universal health coverage is at the heart of the global development agenda. It means ensuring that all people obtain the health services they need without suffering much financial hardships when paying for them. The Sustainable Development Goal number 3 requires that countries achieve universal health coverage, including financial risk protection, access to quality essential health care services, access to safe, effective, quality and affordable essential medicines and vaccines for all. Madam Speaker, I am pleased to note that Fiji has already made great strides towards the goal of universal health coverage. I believe we sometimes fail to acknowledge exactly what we as a nation have achieved. We have an extensive network of hospitals, health centres and nursing stations. They are staffed by committees, skilled doctors, nurses and other health professionals. As a result, any Fijian, rich or poor, can have access to these essential health care. Madam Speaker, I know that some people seek to criticize our health system, and I acknowledge that. Like any government service, there will always be scope for us to do better. We cannot relax in our efforts to improve our systems and services. But Madam Speaker and members of this August House, I ask you to reflect on the fact that all Fijians enjoy universal free access to basic health care, and there are many, many countries, and some wealthier than ours, where this is still a dream, a remote prospect. To just take a couple of examples, we often look enviously at our friends and neighbours in Australia and New Zealand, but we should remember that in Australia it is not uncommon to wait for a week to get an appointment to see a general practitioner, and in around 1 in 5 cases that visit results in the patient having to pay a fee. Likewise, a recent report indicated that New Zealanders can face charges up to New Zealand $69 when they visit their GP. In comparison, Madam Speaker, we are doing remarkably well. Madam Speaker, this month also marks another anniversary which is of great personal significance to me. It marks 1 year since I had the honour to be appointed as Minister for Health and Medical Services. It has been a year that has brought both challenges and rewards. Perhaps my most compelling realization during the past 12 months has been the scale of the challenges Fiji faces due to the growing epidemic of non-communicable diseases. Of course, I'm aware of NCDs. I was aware of NCDs before I took up my current role. I had listened to speeches, I had heard the rhetorics and seen various messages put out by the Ministry of Health and Medical Services. What has changed, Madam Speaker, however, is my appreciation of both the scale and urgency of the threat posed by NCDs to our people. NCDs, Madam Speaker, are undoubtedly one of the major challenges confronting the health system in Fiji and around the world. Due to NCDs, we face the very real prospect of a reversal in the steady increases in life expectancy that have marked our development as a nation. For the first time, we may find that our children's lives are on average shorter than ours. That would be a tragedy, and it is one which each one of us must play a part in avoiding. Madam Speaker, the relentless growth in NCDs can be stopped and even reversed if each one of us takes responsibility for our health. If each one of us commits to eating the right foods in the right quantities, if each one of us avoids excessive use of alcohol, if each one of us, if smoking, stops smoking, or better still, don't start, and if each one of us took regular exercises, it can be done, and we all have a part to play. Madam Speaker, NCDs have been rightly described as lifestyle-related diseases. To tackle them, we need lifestyle-related actions. My ministry, Madam Speaker, is committed to offering leadership and guidance in the fight against NCDs. We will work in collaboration with the public, private and non-governmental sectors to inform people of the risks of NCDs, to explain how these risks can be minimized and to help make healthy choices, easy choices. But again, Madam Speaker, it is up to each and every Fijian to make those choices, to choose health, not a life blighted by NCDs. Madam Speaker, tackling NCDs will help Fijians enjoy better, healthier and longer lives. It will also lessen the financial burdens placed on our health system and enable us to reinvest funds to expand services in other areas. Madam Speaker, we are investing to improve our hospitals, to improve public education about a wide range of important health issues. We are recruiting more doctors and nurses to deliver more and better care in rural areas. We are also engaging and reaching out to our communities through the training of networking community health workers. Madam Speaker, it is not only about bricks and mortar and machinery, it is also about trained staff, about basic awareness, it's also about values and health education. Addressing communicable diseases and environment health concerns are also high priorities, as is strengthening our emergency preparedness and response capabilities. Madam Speaker, in that context, we are working together towards enhancing our surveillance capabilities and developing a stronger multi-sectoral approach to risk management. Of course, Madam Speaker, a good health system also requires strong legislative basis, and with that in mind, His Excellency last week pointed to the fact that Parliament is expected to consider changes in laws on public health and quarantine. We will seek to ensure that our legislation in these crucial areas is consistent and contemporary best practice and protects the health of our population while minimizing the regulatory burdens on our society. Madam Speaker, the memories of the devastation caused by TC Winston is still with us. Events such as that create challenges for our health system, and we know that climate change, if it is not slowed, will make such events more frequent and more severe. That is why, Madam Speaker, the climate change agenda and Fiji's leadership role at COP23 are of crucial importance to the health of our nation. Climate change, as we all know, also poses a great challenge to our nation and the world alike, as it has an impact on health in terms of coastal erosion, supply of drinking water, food security, and increases in temperatures. The way of life of our coastal populations, Madam Speaker, is also at stake, and it is only logical and a moral obligation to bring these issues to the attention of the global community. Earlier this year, Fiji was honored to host 2 visits by Dr. Tedros prior to his recent election as the new Director General of the World Health Organization. Following his appointment, Dr. Tedros has identified the health impacts of climate and environmental change as one of his 5 priorities for WHO. Fiji will be proud to stand alongside him in addressing that priority. We currently also have the honor to serve as a member of the WHO Executive Board, where we are well placed to support Dr. Tedros' efforts. Madam Speaker, planning is also underway for a special Health Action Day at COP23, where our Honourable Prime Minister and Dr. Tedros are expected to share a platform to advocate for this vital issue. Madam Speaker, I can assure this House and the Fijian people that the Ministry of Health and Medical Services is focused on delivering all the priorities of the Fiji First government and striving to support every Fijian in meeting their aspirations for health and healthcare. As His Excellency told us in his address, education, health and welfare benefits have never been expanded as before, unquote. Madam Speaker, a healthy nation is a productive nation, and productivity holds the key to continued economic growth for Fiji, which in turn means better standards of living for our people. A healthier Fiji is also a wealthier Fiji. Madam Speaker, investment in our people's health is key to our development as a nation. That is why every day we must work to build a healthier Fiji. Every day we seek to honor the Honourable Prime Minister's pledge that we will leave no one behind. In concluding, Madam Speaker, I must also express on behalf of the Fijian people to all those who contribute to the successes of our health sector. Madam Speaker, first I'd like to offer thanks to all the staff in my ministry whose hard work and dedication is so fundamental to meeting our population's health need. Whether they are doctors, nurses and other health professionals working at the front line of service delivery, or they are behind the scenes ensuring that meals are cooked for the patients, salaries are paid and budgets are managed, their contributions are all vitally important, and I thank them on behalf of all the Fijians. Madam Speaker, I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the many NGOs, civil society organizations, faith-based organizations and individuals who deliver services and manage programs in many different areas. Their support ranges from provision of visiting teams to carry out complex surgical and other procedures to delivery of the best clinical services in remote communities and advocacies in areas such as prostate cancer, screening and rheumatic heart disease, to just name a few. Madam Speaker, it would also be amiss for me not to express my sincere appreciation for the part played by our bilateral development partners, including the governments of Australia, China, India, Japan, Korea and New Zealand. We also benefit greatly from the support of our colleagues in various UN agencies and other multilateral bodies such as the SPC. At last, but by no means least, Madam Speaker, I stand here to express my thanks to His Excellency the President. I also thank him for his strong and consistent support in his capacity as our national champion for the reduction of NCDs. I cannot express how much His Excellency's contribution in this vital field means to me and my ministry. Madam Speaker, I am extremely proud to have been given the responsibility to lead the government's work in the vital field of health. I appreciate the opportunity to convey to the House some of the details of the Ministry's work to improve the lives of our fellow Fijians, and I recommit myself to working even harder in the months ahead to deliver the vision of a healthier, happier Fiji in which no one is left behind. With these words, Madam Speaker, I commend His Excellency's address to the House. Thank you.